Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Ockwell-Smith. Welcome to my latest SOS parenting video. Today I want to talk about a little bit of my new book called How to Be a Calm Parent that's out in early 22. But what I want to discuss today is why sometimes our children's behaviour can trigger us and create a reaction that is much bigger than their behaviour warrants. So I'm sure you've all experienced this. You know, your child has just been, well, like a child, doing whatever it is they do, having a tantrum, whining, crying, throwing something around, and you felt this like red hot roaring anger building in your belly and then exploding out, and you're like a big sort of anger monster. And when it happens, I think sometimes we take ourselves by surprise. It's quite scary. But what is it about? At this point, often people will say, my child makes me so angry. What can I do? How can I stop the child's behavior? But actually, when this happens, it's not really about our children at all. Actually about ourselves. So what I'm not saying is be permissive and let your child behave and be rude or do anything they want. What I'm saying is sometimes the anger we feel and the desire to stop our child from doing something is actually much more about what's inside us than what our children do. So here what I'm really talking about is our own children can be huge triggers for any difficult emotions that we carry inside. Now, very often what we'll find is there is some unresolved trauma or memories from our own childhood. And what you'll often say, let's take the example of a child who's being very rude or answering back to you. And the sort of the indignation and the anger and the frustration that builds up inside you when your child is talking to you about like that isn't just about your child. What it's also about is how you were raised as a child and what would have happened if you had spoken to your parents in that manner. So let's say you were a similar age or a little bit older, a little bit younger, and you were saying those same words to your parents. What's rising up inside of you isn't just a reaction to your child. It's a memory, a subconscious memory from your own childhood of what your parents would have said or done to you if you had dared to speak to them in that way. So what we've got now is your child is speaking to you, but it's almost a little bit of a reenaction of what happened in your own childhood. And it is absolutely fine for you to do things differently. You don't have to feel that indignation that your parents felt when you spoke to them in that way. And similarly, you don't have to respond to your child in the same way that your parents would have responded to you. But what we do need to do is just to be aware that very often that isn't about them, it's about us and about our past. And it's so tricky because we just react and we scare ourselves with these big explosive emotions. But just take a moment the next time you feel that to think, am I solely mindfully and consciously responding to my child here? Or have I attached a deeper meaning to their behaviour and the sort of the parent and child relationship based on what I experienced as a child myself? And then think, as a child myself, when I was rude or disrespectful and my parents treated me in a certain way, how did I feel? Is that what I want to be like with my own children? And if the answer to that is no, then absolutely you can break the cycle. How do you do that? You just start by saying, okay, well, this ends with me and a new style starts with me. It's not quite that simple. It takes a lot of sort of self-discipline. It takes a lot of practice. And you will screw up. You will get it wrong. But the more you can be mindful about what you're bringing to current transactions or current experiences with your child isn't just about you and them, it's also about the past, is really the first step to changing things. But I think the other thing to be aware of a little bit on a related note is when we react and we are out of control with our children, it isn't just about them and it isn't just about our own upbringings. It's also about what else is happening in our lives as well. So if you're full up of lots of stuff and stress and whatever else, then when your child does something that actually is quite appropriate for their age, although irritating, a toddler having a tantrum, it's irritating, but it is normal for their age. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with them or they're being deliberately naughty. Then you react with everything that you've been holding inside. You kind of blow up to them. And again, it's not about the child. They're just the thing that tipped it over the edge. And I think being aware of what you're holding on to, whether it's from your past, whether it's from your sort of your near past or your present, maybe to do with work, relationships, money, finances, health, something else, just be aware that what else am I holding that might spill over the edge when my child does something, and think, am I reacting just to their behavior, or am I overspilling with other stuff? And I also have a video about this, actually, if you look through this channel, and I have a video about containment. I'll try and link to it up in the screen now, but that video itself should help you. So if you do find yourself really struggling with your anger and your responses to your children sometimes, these 2 tips I think are a really good starting place. By no means not the only thing to do, but a good starting place. And if you are interested in learning more about tackling your own tantrums and dealing with your temper and your anger and how to just be a bit calmer in order to break that cycle and grow calmer children, then my book, How to Be a Calm Parent, is out soon, and you'll find a little link to it at the top of your screen too. If you like my video, please do hit the subscribe button. I post up a new one every Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this helped. Bye.